How's it going, Mark? Thanks for
Hey,
doing
Dave.
this. Obviously, kind of a rough patch here, but what do you tell the guys? What's their spirits like? And have you seen any of the guys in the clubhouse kind of take it up and maybe taking that inspirational speech role?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we can't control our circumstances, but we can control our attitude, our effort, and our preparation. And so that's the focus. You cannot be distracted or brought down by the circumstances around us. We just have to control the things that are controllable, and that has to be the mindset. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we have guys on our team that will help get that message throughout the team. And there's human nature. There will be times maybe guys get up or down more than necessary, but in the big picture, that has to be our approach.
Ben?
Mark, just what's kind of been the response from guys been like since Tuesday? And I guess I kind of asked this after the game, but to be able to have an opportunity against the number one team this weekend, I guess just how, exciting, is that maybe to give those guys a chance to maybe flush the last, week and a half, basically?
Yeah, every day is a new opportunity, and this is a great opportunity to play the number one ranked team in the country in our ballpark. So it's a great opportunity. It's a challenge, and you just have to embrace that at this point.
Colin?
Yeah, Mark, how do you kind of just balance some of the results you're seeing from the pitching staff with understanding that they are freshmen kind of going through some of those growing pains early in their careers?
Yeah, you have to. You have to look at big picture and small picture. And as much as we say it all the time, it's true. We've got to focus on process over outcome right now. The outcome at some point will be what we want. But until we get to that point, we just have to focus on doing the right things on a daily basis. We have to have the right process to get us where we're trying to go. So, we've got young guys doing things that maybe we're asking them to do too much, but it's just the situation we're in. So they'll grow from it. They'll get better from it.
John Whittle?
You mentioned after the Clemson series that your biggest concern coming out of that was getting hits with guys in the scoring position. What have you done to combat that over the course of the week, or do you just chalk that up as a bad weekend and not worry about that moving forward?
I mean, as a coach, you worry about everything. That's your job, is you worry about everything. There's an old line in a movie that says your job is to worry when there's nothing to worry about. So when you do have issues, of course, you're thinking about them and how can you help the situation. With our hitters, we're not going to belabor the fact too much that we need to do better. They know that. And sometimes it's a matter of facing really good pitching, which we did last weekend. And so the truth is always somewhere in the middle. Hitters need to make slight adjustments. You need to understand the kind of pitching you're facing and just keep pushing forward. But Coach Kaye works with each hitter individually about the things that they need to do to be successful, whether it's mentally or physically. So you just have to do that each and every day.
Ben?
Mark, just wanted to ask if you had any kind of update on Julian and what sort of his progress has been and when you might think that, or if you have any kind of timeline on what he's kind of looking at.
Yeah, I can tell you Julian has begun throwing within the last week. And so far, knock on wood, the results have been good. We don't know the timetable yet, but this is a very positive step in the right direction for him and for us.
Mike Giva?
Mark, obviously playing in one of the tougher conferences in the country, and then obviously playing Texas this weekend. I mean, being this battle tested this early on, I know you guys signed up for this. I know there's no break, there's no breath really at all. How do you guys be able to kind of, try to find that momentum? I know it's from a baseball standpoint, you're always trying to get that routine going and get that rhythm. How do you going up against such a tough schedule?
Yeah, that's a good question. Had I had a crystal ball and knew what we would be going through injuries wise, maybe we do, maybe we don't make the schedule this weekend. So, when we made the schedule, we thought we would look a little bit different than we do right now. But that being the case, you just have to encourage guys to embrace the opportunity. Life's going to throw a lot at you. This is a great challenge. We're playing the best baseball in the country. And you just have to rise to the occasion. That's the only way to approach the schedule and approach what we're going through.
Dave? Mark, when you guys are deciding on your pitchers other than Will Sanders, what goes into that? Is it the opponent, whether they're lefty, righty, stocks? Is it just maybe who's been throwing the best in the bullpen? Just what goes into that decision-making?
Yeah, it's a little bit of all that, Dave. With Will out there, you get a chance to – obviously, we scout opponents on video and we watch a ton of video going into a series, but then when you get to watch them in person, you learn more about them. And so you get a better feel for who might be good matchups on your staff. you have to see the way we're going game to game right now. We have to see who are we using to potentially win a game. So if you have certain guys that can help you win a game, maybe that makes them more important in that game than trying to save them for a game 2 or a game 3. So all those things are being considered. The left-right matchups, of course. Where's the wind blowing? Is the opponent more right-handed heavy, which Texas is? So how important is the speed game and trying to neutralize that based on who we can pitch? So there's a million different factors that go into it. But in terms of just deciding who's going to start the next game, a lot of it has to do with who did we need to use to win the previous game.
Colin?
Mark, is there an update on when we might see Josiah and maybe Brett Thomas throw? Is there an update on their injuries?
Brett Thomas threw yesterday in a live setting as well as Eli Jones, and both looked very, very good. So that was encouraging for us. Josiah Seitler, I wouldn't anticipate seeing him pitch anytime soon, but he will continue to be in our lineup offensively.
Ben?
Mark, I guess it's a little bit touch and go, but do you guys have any sort of plan to adjust the schedule, if at all, with weather and coming into the weekend?
Yeah, the weather looks like it looks like the biggest threat of rain is tomorrow night. So there are discussions about potentially moving the game time. But again, the weather, as we all know around here, can change hour to hour. So our people are looking at that very closely, and we're going to do everything we can to get the ball games in.
Colin?
Mark, I know Texas is number one, but just what have you seen from them in film and scouting, and especially with that pitching staff?
Well, for 50 years, when you think about Texas, it always starts with the pitching, and this year's no different. I mean, you look at their stats, and they're ridiculous. They're Friday and Saturday night starters, 36 innings they've thrown, and they've given up 1 earned run. It's unheard of. It really is. So that's going to be a challenge. But our guys need to rise to the occasion. When you think Texas, you always think about that pitching first. Next, you think about their defense and their athleticism, and then they just find a way to score runs. It's what they've always been. I think the current coaching staff embraces that identity, and that's exactly what they are this year.
Any more questions for Coach? All right, we'll let him go.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.